Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday's gentle class. Some of my focus is going to be on nervous system calming because we probably could all use that right now. And I'm going to get us moving since a lot of us might be less active than normal. So those are two of my goals. You might want to have a bolster, a blanket, 2 blocks, and a strap, or any combination of those items if you have them. If not, there's ways to improvise. So start first with a comfortable seated position. A lot of you might want to sit on a bolster or blocks or blanket if your back is stiff. Rest your hands wherever is comfortable for you. And then close your eyes when you're ready. Take a moment to settle into your space. Feel the sits bones rooted down. Relax your shoulders. Lengthen the back of your neck so it's not crunched. Relax your forehead and your temples. Unclench your jaw. Excuse me. And relax your lips. Keeping the lips gently closed. Take a moment to observe your natural breath rhythm. Noticing how deep or shallow your breath might be. If it's fast or slow. Checking in with your posture. And then start to gradually deepen your inhales. And lengthen out your exhales, slowing them down. Allow the natural expansion in the abdomen as you breathe in, relaxing abdominal muscles. And exhale slowly, starting to draw the navel toward the spine at the end of your exhales now, to empty that last bit of air out. Relax the abdomen as you breathe in, belly expanding, and then eventually the ribs. And then exhaling slowly, drawing navel and low belly in at the bottom of the exhales. Practice this for a couple more rounds. Once you come to the end of your next exhale, you're welcome to keep your eyes closed or open them. Reach your arms out and up overhead, breathing in. Exhale, turn to the right. I'm mirroring you all right now. Take your left hand to the outer right thigh and your right hand behind you. If you're sitting on a bolster or a block, you might want to put a block under your left hand or right hand. Keep the shoulders both relaxed, chest lifted, breath steady. One more breath in. Exhaling, release your twist. Reach out and up, breathing in, and from here, lean back, engaging your core, and switch the cross of your legs. So bring inside foot to the outside, and then sit back into cross-legged. Lift your sternum again. Breathe in. Exhale, turn at the waist to the left. Bring your right hand to left shin, or if your spine is rotated enough, maybe hand goes to outer thigh. But don't let the movement or hunching up of the shoulder determine where your hand goes. Try to maintain even space between each vertebrae and the discs between them. So one side's not crunching. One more deep breath in. And then exhaling, release the twist. Let's come to tabletop. Some of you might want to put a blanket under your knees if you need cushioning. If you're on carpet at home, you might need to push the fingers into the floor more than you're used to at the studio because the heel of the palm tends to sink more, the squishier the surface is underneath you. On an inhale, let's lift head and tail going into cow. Exhale around your back. Tuck chin and tail into cat. Inhale again, extending the spine. Exhale, slowly flexing it. Do 2 more rounds. Keeping the arms straight at the elbows. Moving with the breath. Forgot to mention, you can start to engage the Ujjayi breath if you haven't already, if you use it normally. Once you finish your next exhale, go to a neutral spine. And then drop back into child's pose for a few breaths. Your hips drop toward the feet, ribs and belly rest against the thighs. Some of you might want to use a block or two under the forearms and prop your head up there. Or just forearms crossed on the mat. So try not to have the hips up real high and the head down low. Let the hips drop and prop your head up with something if you need to. Maybe you hear the birds outside the sunroom I'm in. Okay, let's go to tabletop again. Then we're going to sit on either the feet, or a lot of you will probably prefer sitting on something. So maybe a block between the feet, maybe 2 blocks. Maybe you have like a firm pillow at home. And just kind of even out your weight on your butt cheeks. Lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, and then reach your arms out, palms facing forward. Rotate the shoulder joints so palms might turn up a little more, and maybe look up a bit to open the chest more, making sure that it's sternum lifting. There's a cardinal staring at me right now. Okay, now go to neutral spine as you reach your arms up. Breathe in, interlace the fingers and turn your palms up as you exhale. The Ujjayi breath is a gentle constriction to the muscles in the back of your throat, which brings heat into the body. It makes a sound that the mind can stay focused on. Let's turn the palms together. Release the fingers and reach them up and spread them. And then turn the palms out and down toward the floor. Relax your arms down. Maybe shake them out a little if you need to, or roll the shoulders around. Some of you might like to just stand up on the knees for a moment, or even stand there. You're welcome to stay on the block if you want. Take the right arm behind the back. Palm faces out. And wiggle your hand toward the left waist. Some of you might be here still, and that's fine. Go to a position where this shoulder, your right shoulder, is able to roll back. Core engaged. When the shoulder rolls back, you might be able to get the hand further. Lift up your chest, breathe in. And then as you exhale, just tilt left ear toward left shoulder. Stretching the right upper traps and then neck muscles. Notice your breath, keep it steady. Remember, pranayama means breath control. And prana is a word for breath, but it's also the word for life force or energy in yoga philosophy. Now roll, or turn the chin toward the left shoulder, and then roll your chin to the center of your chest. Release your right arm, maybe shake it out, and then lift your head back up. I'm going to sit back on the block now. You can go to cross-legged if you prefer as well. take your left arm now behind the back. Maybe start with the elbow out and then start wiggling the hand toward the waist. Maybe you grab your right arm, drop the shoulders, lift your sternum. Maybe engage the glutes and then tilt right ear toward right shoulder. Notice the breath. The next exhale, turn your chin toward the right shoulder and then roll the chin to the center of your chest as you release the arm. Lift your head back up and do whatever you need to for your arms. Let's go to a seated position now. So I'm going to go to cross-legged because I'm tired of being on my knees. And bring your hands to the front of your knees. So if you're sitting on your feet still, you can still do that. And then expand the chest, roll your shoulders back, maybe look up a little bit for seated cat-cow. Breathe in. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin and let your waistband drop back. And then again, inhale through neutral spine into extension, puff out your chest, arch the lower back, stick out your butt. And then exhale through neutral into flexion. One more time, inhale into extension. Exhale into flexion. And then go back to neutral spine. Okay, let's go to tabletop again if you're not already there, or if you're not already close to it, I should say. And then we're going to go into a lunge with the right foot forward. So if you don't have a lot of room underneath you, your foot gets stuck, blocks under the hands can be helpful. Otherwise, you can grab your foot, get it to the front of the mat so your heel is on the floor. Blocks can be extensions of your arms. Expand the chest, take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, some of you might let the hips drop forward a little more. I'm very flexible, and sometimes it just feels better to not stay back, but honor your body, honor your needs. Stay connected to your pranayama, breath control. Taking a moment throughout the day to just pause and control the breath can be really powerful for calming the nervous system, calming the mind, not losing your shit. Okay, let's go to a modified pyramid. If you take my class, you're familiar with this. The left toes tuck under, lift your knee, and only straighten the right leg enough to feel a little, not a deep hamstring stretch, but a starter one on the right. Some of you might want to hop your back foot forward, maybe flip the blocks higher so your back stays straight. It's not about how far down your hands go, because a lot of times that makes the spine do funky stuff. It's more about flexing the hips. Now bend the right knee. Lift the left heel and hop or wiggle the toes back and lower the knee to the floor. A blanket under the knee if you need padding, or you can fold your mat over, but go upright. Maybe take your blocks with you so they're there in case you need them. Kneel here. And if you can look back at your left foot, try to swing it so it goes right behind the knee. It might feel a little different on your hip flexors in the front there. Bring your hands to your heart, thumbs to sternum. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, rotate at the waist to the right, making sure the hips stay still along with the knees. It's a lot more challenging to do a twist isolating the areas that are meant to twist than it is to throw the whole body into it, making the hips go out of alignment and legs swinging around. another breath in. Exhaling, release your twist. We're going to switch the legs. Some of you might go to tabletop first. Others might prefer to go to the knees. And then step the left foot forward. Grab your blocks and move them forward. We'll start in a low lunge. So when you're in the lunge, remember if your knee goes so far forward that your heel lifts, that's going to put strain on the knee joint in time. So make sure your foot's forward enough where the heel can ground down. A lot of times you hear the cue, knee doesn't go past the ankle, and that's generally correct for most, but there are some that can go a little further without putting strain in the knee, but the heel should stay rooted. If that was too much talking, you can always rewind it and mute me. Okay, now we're going to go into that modified pyramid. So the blocks will be more stable if you flip them a little lower first. Lift the back knee. Straighten the front leg just enough to get a starter stretch in the hammies. Hop the right foot forward if you'd like to. I would have my socks off if it was warmer in this room. There's better grip that way with your bare feet. Now bend the front knee as you breathe in. Go to the right tiptoes and hop or wiggle that foot back to lower the knee down. Come up to a kneeling position. Hands to heart, thumbs to sternum. Bring your right foot, if you can look back, right behind your knee. Shoulders low as the chest lifts. Breathe in. Lock the hips into place along with the thighs as you turn to the left, rotating at the waist. Check your shoulders. And the next exhale, release the twist. And we'll go back to all fours again. Whether you go to tabletop first or kind of stand on the knees. And then from there, rest in child's pose. Let your hips drop back towards your feet. A lot of people, I usually prefer to having the knees much wider apart. So it gives you room to sink inside, to sink lower. If you have downward dog in your practice, you're welcome to take that instead for the next few breaths. And let's come to all fours again. Then we're going to make our way into a forward fold at the front of the mat. Some of you might go through downward dog. If you're familiar with it, I'm going to demonstrate going through it lunge. So whatever foot you prefer stepping forward with, do so. And then tuck the back toes, lift your knee. Maybe use your blocks, walking the hands a little forward as you hop your left foot so that your feet are hip width apart and parallel to each other. Back, we want the spine neutral, not rounded. That tends to happen when the goal ends up being to reach down as far as possible instead of finding correct alignment. So a lot of times bending the knees can be really helpful along with blocks up higher to be able to straighten your back. So for a lot of you, it'll feel like doing cow. This is a half fold now. Take a deep breath in here, rooting down the heels. And then as you exhale, keep the knees as bent as you need them as you fold down. I'm really open in this one and it just feels better to hang here, but if you're still up pretty high and your knees are real straight, bend them more and maybe rest your belly against your thighs. Your neck can relax. If you want to rock gently side to side, you can. It's an option.
And go back to stillness if you're rocking. Release your arms. Bring your hands to your shins, thighs, or blocks and go to a half fold again. So your back is straight. Maybe look forward a little bit to help your upper back straighten out. Take a breath in here in your half fold. And then exhaling, draw your weight back toward the heels a little more as you bend the knees. Bring your hands to your thighs and have your spine a little more upright so it's diagonal, like you're sitting in a high chair. Tuck the tail a little bit and then walk your hands up the thighs, breathing. Deep breath in as you stand up. You roll the shoulders back a little bit. And then we'll come to Tadasana, mountain pose. Have your feet together. Big toes touching if possible. And lift up the chest, roll your shoulders back and down and reach your fingertips toward the floor. Root down the feet. Engage your quadriceps, your glutes, your back muscles, your core muscles. Breathe steady. Find a sense of balance between effort and ease. And release. Open your eyes. Relax. Shake out your arms if you want to. Legs if you want to. We're going to go into a standing pose. So depending on where you are, I mean, you can stay facing me, but some of you might like to have blocks out in front of you as something to put your hands on in case you need to. Bring your feet together and find a focal point. Remember drishti. And then we're going to start on the right foot, lift the left heel. And then start sliding the left toes back, contracting glutes. Maybe your toes stay on the floor, maybe you hover the foot. And then we want to try to keep the spine neutral, not rounding it, but using just the butt cheek muscles to extend the leg back. Some of you might like to go closer to a warrior 3, which would mean trying to keep the hips level to the floor instead of turning to the side. And that's where blocks can come in handy. You can just put your hands on them and start lifting the left leg if you want, but not this kind of lift. Move in that same plane of motion, going straight back and up. And now lower the left foot back a few feet. So you're in kind of a weird lunge. And then keep the right knee bent and bring your hands to your thigh. Pull the navel in and walk your hands up. So you're standing. And come back to feet together. Sorry, Dory, I cracked my knuckles. Let's see. So we're starting on the left foot this time, yeah. Find your drishti. Lift the right heel. And then slide your toes straight back, contracting the glutes. Keep the core engaged. And then stay there, or remember first try to avoid a back arch. And then maybe you bend forward, which comes from a hinge all on the left hip. If you have your hands on blocks and you're able to look underneath you, your right toes, we want facing straight down, moving from the hip joint to do that. Deep breath in. And exhaling, bring the right foot a few feet back if it's lifted. Bring it to the floor if you're still upright. Have a bend in the front knees. You bring your hands above the knee to the thigh. Engage your core as you walk your hands up. And step your feet together. one more standing pose while we're here. Whatever way you're standing on your mat, turn so that you have room on the sides of your feet. And put your blocks down in front of you. We're going to do a wide-legged forward fold. So take your feet out. Now I'm taking my socks off. Feet out wide. Outer edges of the feet parallel. Pants up. Hands to the hips. Extend the chest or the spine. Breathe in. Exhale, bend at the hips, not the waist. And put your hands on blocks. And we'll be in a half fold, wide-legged half fold. So try to avoid locking the knees and sending your weight back towards your heels with your butt far back. And try to avoid hunching over to get your hands down. There are some people that are better off for a little while at least with hands on thighs and not even bending that far down so the inner thighs can stretch. Now if your spine feels pretty neutral and your inner thighs are pretty open, maybe your hands go to the floor. Maybe some of you might walk your hands between the feet. Hands are shoulder width apart here. Keep breathing. One more breath cycle in this forward fold, which is also an inversion, so it's bringing fresh blood to the brain, which is calming. And the next inhale, come up halfway, maybe hands are on the blocks. Then we're going to heel toe the feet to hip width. Exhaling here. Bend your knees, drop your butt, bring your torso a little more upright, and then hands to thighs. Sit back. Draw the navel in, tuck the tail a little bit, and then walk your hands up. Come to standing. Let your hips relax. Shake out your arms if you want. And then come back to the front of your mat. We're going to transition through a couple of poses to go back down to the floor. I'm laughing because my dog is crying in the background, trying to get my husband to give him food. Okay. Bring your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, press your palms together. Inhale, reach out and up overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward with the knees unlocked, maybe really bent. Inhale, come halfway up. Maybe your hands are on blocks. Exhale, fold down. If downward dog is in your practice, you can go through that, or you can frame your feet with the blocks and step whatever foot you want to back. I'm going to go with my right foot back since I went the other way getting forward. And then we're all either in downward dog or child's pose. Reconnecting to the breath. Pranayama, your breath control. We get a lot of feedback from the nervous system through the breath, because when our fight or flight kicks in, we tend to hold our breath as part of protecting vital organs by conserving energy. So when your breath gets shallow or you find yourself holding it, that could be a sign from the nervous system that something needs attention. Now come back to tabletop, and then we'll go to a seated position. Cross-legged. Actually, let's do this. Let's straighten the legs out in front for now in Dandasana. From this angle, you can see my feet are pretty much straight across. This is what it looks like when the pinky toes are too far forward. Try to have the feet straight across. And from this angle, you can see what happens when I need to be propped up on something and I don't do it. It tends to, you'll feel more stretch in your like mid back area. Try to avoid that. If you can't quite sit up straight, then sit up on something. I'm just gonna grab a block because it's easier. Dog. So, like this can be helpful because the hamstrings aren't having to stretch quite as much, which means the pelvis isn't pulling under. We're just going to take a moment to settle into this pose. This is it, staff pose, Dandasana. If you're sitting on something that is wide enough, push your palms against it. Remember to breathe. Now relax for a moment. If your legs just want to flop out, let them. If you want to slump, go ahead. Isn't that how we all kind of feel lately anyway? All right, so a little spinal twist here. I'm going to get off this block because it's not comfortable for me, but if you propped yourself up, stay there. I would suggest staying there. Right leg is bent, left leg straight. Several inches between right foot and thigh. From this angle, you can probably tell if my foot's too close to the leg, and it's hard for me to twist at the waist. My knee goes out, and then the pelvis does the movement. So if your foot's about hip width, it's easier to stay grounded in your butt as you twist at the waist. This happens a lot, shoulder up, so let it drop. Almost rhymed. Keep the left leg engaged with the toes facing up. You can look over the right shoulder as much as you want to with your neck. Some of you might wrap the elbow around the knee. If you have a deeper twist variation, make sure that you're not forcing your right elbow to hyperextend. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release your twist. And cross your right foot to the outside of your left thigh. And release your fingers around the right knee. And then we'll do an opposite moment. Hunch back. This is what you would do in cat. Your spine is flexed. And then do the opposite of this. Try to extend the spine as much as you can. For a lot of us, that'll just bring the spine to neutral, which will possibly be a lot of work. Maintain neutrality. And you hug the right knee or the right thigh toward your belly as your chest lifts for an outer hip stretch in the right hip. You can slide the right hip back a little and hug your thigh toward you even more. Just stretch the outer hip. That was my husband's sneeze. Pretty sure he doesn't have the coronavirus. Okay, release, uncross. Take the right knee out and the sole of the left foot to the inner thigh. Ankle of the left leg flexed. Lift up your chest. Turn the belly toward the straight leg. It's not a big turn. And then bend toward the top of the thigh. Maybe bring your hands outside the leg on the floor. So try to keep your back from hunching over. If you do the pose from your spine, it doesn't change anything. It just like reinforces bad posture. So neutral spine to bend. If you have a strap, you're welcome to wrap it around the foot and pull. Make sure the breath is continuing to flow. And one more full breath cycle here. Now take your time to sit back up. If you have if you were using a strap, remove it. And then bend the left knee as well. So we started out like this, now bend that knee. Take your left arm under the leg, grab the right ankle, and slide that foot outside the left butt cheek so the knee goes more forward. This will change the position of the right hip joint. And then again, cross left foot to the outside of the thigh. Bring your left hand behind you, lift your chest, and turn to the left without collapsing the spine. This is a prep for Half Lord of the Fishes if you're familiar with it. This is the time when sitting on a prop is still going to be helpful for a lot of you. Take another deep breath in. And then as you exhale, release your twist. Now we're going to come into Gomukhasana. So the left foot, take that a little further back and use your feet if you need to wiggle your knees one on top of the other. And then I just lifted my hips. That can be helpful too. And again, a lot of you will be still sitting on something. It makes a huge difference in this pose if you're not comfortable in it. If you have a strap, you can use it. It'll be in the right hand, left hand. If not, you can just reach your arm up anyway. Bend your elbow. And if you feel like you need a little extra stretch in the left triceps and the lats and all that area, you can take right hand up, draw the elbow back, and then maybe behind the head, but try not to tuck your chin here. I tell my students, imagine you're holding a rotten grapefruit under your chin and you don't want to smash it all over your chest. So now right arm will go behind the back. You might grab the strap if it's back there. If you don't have a strap, you can always just grab a hold of your shirt. And now breathe. Gomukhasana is cow face pose. This is what the loose translation is. One more deep breath in. Exhale, release the bind with your arms. And then unravel your legs. It might feel good to just straighten them out, maybe shake them out. So now let's bend the left knee. And just like the other side, since we're going into a spinal twist, move your foot far enough away from the other leg so that the heel is in line with the hip joint. Bring your left hand behind you. Right hand to the front of the knee. Lift up your chest, breathe in. And then keep your spine lifted up as you twist to the left. Right toes still facing up, thigh engaged. Notice the breath. It might be harder to breathe in a twist, but it's often easier to exhale completely. The more movement you get in the abdominal cavity in a twist, the more you're using the diaphragm and the lungs together to pump the internal organs to help bring out toxins. Take another breath in. And then exhaling, release your twist. Cross your left foot to the outside of the right thigh. And release your fingers around the knee, and then again, maybe hunch a little first to feel the opposite spinal action, and then reverse that. And then a deeper outer hip stretch would be to just kind of angle your pelvis to the left a little more, but still hugging your thigh in. And I will usually push in this case, my left foot against the outer right thigh too, to help me do that pelvis angle. Okay, release. Uncross your legs. And then get ready for Janu Sirsasana. Your left knee goes out to the side, sole of the foot against inner right thigh. It might be helpful to wiggle around on your butt cheeks. A lot of you will probably still be sitting on a bolster blanket, just a reminder. Use your strap if you want to, if you have one. You can also use a towel instead. Lift up the chest, turn at the waist so your belly faces right leg, and then fold over the top of it. And remember, it's not about how far you go down or forward, it's more about keeping the spine neutral. Avoid hunching over to do it. Breath is steady. Two more breaths in Janu Sirsasana. And one more. On the next inhale, come back upright. And then keep the left leg as it is. Bend your right knee. Reach under the right leg, grab the left foot, and draw it more toward the outside of the opposite hip. So knee will go forward. The hip is not as much abducted anymore. Possibly not at all. Cross your right foot to the outside of the left thigh. And make sure that you can start with a neutral spine. So avoid the hunching. Sit upright. Right hand behind the back. Lift up the chest. Use the leverage of pulling against the right knee with your hand to twist. If we twist with a hunch, it tends to compress this side of the spine. The left side in this case. Keep breathing. And one more deep breath in. And exhaling, release your twist. Get set up for cow face pose. Now I forgot which one. Oh yeah, okay. So right foot back a little further, knee above other knee. Lift your hips if you need to, wiggle them around. Still sitting propped up on a prop if you're in need. Strap, if you're using one, will be in right hand. Everybody reach the right hand up. Bend your elbow. Use your left hand if you need to guide the arm first, maybe a little further back, and then the elbow behind your head, making sure you don't tuck the chin to get your arm back there. So even if your elbow's out to the side a little and your spine is neutral, that's better than in and hunched. Right arm or left arm will go behind the back when you're ready. Maybe grabbing the strap, maybe grabbing your shirt, maybe clasping hands if that's in your practice. And one more inhale. As you exhale, release the arms, and then unravel your legs. Take a moment to relax, do whatever feels good. our way down to the belly. If your mat is facing the camera, you might want to stay facing the camera. Go to tabletop first, and then a plank on the knees. So the knees might need to go back further or the hands forward more. So the hips drop just a bit. You should feel your core engaged to keep you from dropping too far. Now one more breath in as you press out of the shoulders a little bit more. And then as you exhale, start lowering the hips and also bending the elbows straight back to go to the belly and the chest. And take a moment to rest. Some of you might turn to a cheek. Others might cross forearms. Rest your forehead on them. As you lay here on the belly, allow your hips and your pelvis to sink into the mat. Allow your rib cage to sink. Relax your lower back. And even relax your glutes for a moment. Now we're going to do locust shalabhasana. Bring your arms back by your sides and wiggle your legs close together. Press your heels toward each other and top of the feet against the mat. Maybe your knees lift from doing that. That did rhyme. Now, hips press down as you extend your spine, lifting up the chest. Try to bring your shoulder blades up and toward each other, retracting them. And make sure the back of the neck isn't crunched. So still the curve of the neck going along with the rest of the spine. Some of you might even lift the feet by lifting the back of the knees. So the glutes are contracted. And now come down and rest any way you'd like. Oh. Make sure you're comfortable because we're going to be sitting still for a bit. If you have a wall to sit back against, that might even be more comfortable. Nadi Shodhana Pranayama is what we're going to practice. Alternate nostril breathing, if you know that. It affects the nadis, if you know what they are, which are they're energetic pathways throughout the body that are often likened to the meridians in Chinese medicine, but they're not the same. It balances out the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. If you're stuffed up, there are options. If one side is clear and the other is stuffed up, it's fine to plug up the stuffed side and breathe only through the one. It's a little different, but it has a little different effect, but it still can be calming. Or you can just do your best to continue breathing in and out through one or both nostrils with your hands resting on the knees. So it's still breath control either way. Doing alternate nostril breathing with the nose stuffed up can be more agitating to the nervous system than calming. So keep that in mind. Also, since this is a time when we're suggested not to touch our face, if you want to adhere to that, that's another reason maybe to rest your hands on your knees. So going back to it, close off left nostril with the ring finger and pinky finger. Exhale out the right. Keep the right open and inhale through the right. Close off the right nostril, exhale out the left. Inhale through the left. Close off left, exhale out right. Inhale through the right. Close off the right, exhale out left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Continue on your own for a few more rounds. Once you've finished your next exhale out the left nostril, release your hand down to your lap. Come back to your natural breath for a few more rounds. Check your posture. At the bottom of your next exhale, gently open your eyes. Scoot off of anything you're sitting on. Move it off to the side. If you have a bolster, we're going to use it for supported fish. If you're familiar with that pose, it's a heart opener. If you don't have a bolster, you could use like a towel or blanket and roll it up into a cylinder. You can always pause this video and go grab one. Even a pillow that's not too wide will work. So scoot forward enough so that when you lay down on it, the edge is not propping your low back into an overextension. And then it might be kind of mid back or bra line, if you know where that is. That's supported by the edge of the bolster. Legs down to the floor is an option for how to position your legs. Some of you might like to do a hip opener, which might feel pretty good with blocks under the outer thighs. And then hands might rest on the ribs. Maybe arms are down a little bit away from your hips with palms up, so your chest opens a little more freely. And then close your eyes. Notice if you're holding tension in your jaw, and let it go if possible. On your brow line, your temples, relax them. And then allow the shoulders and the back of your head to be heavy. Bring your awareness to the breath now. Keeping your eyes closed, maybe even with a piece of clothing or something over them to block out the light. Allow the natural expansion in the abdomen as you breathe in. So relax the belly muscles. And as you exhale, feel the belly drop down slowly. Empty out the lungs. Belly expands as you breathe in. Belly gently, naturally drops down as you exhale. more depth into the breath, or try to at least. So the belly is going to relax again as you breathe in. But then once the belly can't expand any further and you're still inhaling, you'll let the ribs expand to take in a bit more air. So relax the belly, breathe in slowly, expanding the belly first and then the ribs. Let it all exhale out slow. Relax the belly, and then eventually the ribs expand, inhaling. And exhale slowly. Throat is relaxed here, there's no ujjayi breath. Belly expands first, then the ribs as you inhale. All of it drops down slowly as you exhale out completely. A few more rounds on your own. At the bottom of your next exhale, relax your breath, whatever that means for you. And then bend your knees if your legs are straight. Take the knees together if they're out to the sides. And just start wiggling your way down, whatever you're laying on. Till some of you might be able to bring your shoulder blades down enough to be able to just lift the head and push it out from underneath you. Others might prefer to roll to the side and roll off the bolster and then push it away from underneath you. We'll go all the way down to the back now. Get yourself comfortable for Shavasana, which we'll do after another breath practice. Have your palms facing up. Eyes closed. Facial muscles relaxed. Shoulders heavy. And we'll do a breath counting now. So I'm going to count to 5 as you breathe in. And then we're going to hold the breath for a count of 1. Exhale, counting down from 5. Hold the breath out for a count of 1. So it'll be a 5-1-5-1 cycle to start with. Start with a complete exhale, breathing through the nose the whole time. And then I'll start counting to 5 on the inhale. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold in for 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out for 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold in for 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out for 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold in for 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out for 1. Start to inhale and return to your natural breath for a moment. Now this is to add on. It might make it a little more challenging. It's going to be a count of 6, 2, 6, 2. Inhaling for a count of 6, hold for 2, exhale down from 6, hold out for 2. Exhale out completely. And then start to breathe in. 1, 2, keep breathing in. 4, 5, keep inhaling. Hold in the breath for 2, 1, exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, keep pressing the navel out. Hold the breath out for 1, 2, start to breathe in. 1, 2, 3, slowly. 5, 6, hold in for 1, 2, exhale. 6, 5, slowly. 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold out for 1, 2, exhale or inhale slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, keep breathing in. 6, hold for 1, 2, exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold out for 1, 2, slowly inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold in for 1, 2, exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold out for 1, 2, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold. 1, 2, exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold out for 1, 2, start to slowly breathe in and return to your natural breath. Lie here still for Shavasana. begin to deepen your breath. Bring movement back into your fingers and toes. Reach your arms overhead and stretch your whole body. Bend your knees and gently roll over to your most comfortable side and let your whole body rest. When you're ready, gently press back up into a seated position. I'm going to close with 2 mantras. The first one is going to be it's Purnamada, Om Purnamada. The gist that I understand is that it basically means that everything that's happening is happening for a reason. There's a lot more to it than that, but that's the gist that I gather. Second mantra is going to be my usual closing with the Guru mantra. So bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Akanda Mandalakaram Vyaptamena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The light in me honors the light in all of you. Thank you all for joining me and being willing to try this. It's tough times, but we will get through it. Namaste.